And hello! So it is that time during the week where I am going to be answering your wait, no. Okay, so essentially I have a new segment that I'm starting on this channel where I ask a question every Sunday, and on Friday I record a video responding to your answers. So we are basically going to do that. But actually, before I answer these questions that many of you were so nice to leave me, there's something that I want to make a little itsy bitsy announcement. And the announcement is. Actually, give me a second. I gotta kind of quickly. I didn't have this set up when I started this. Damn it! Blah! Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to give a quick little announcement. So, I actually made a poll, and I asked you guys what kind of videos you want me to make in relationship to Magica Record, and it seems like the vast majority of you, because this has like 95 votes, and the vast majority of you want character profiles. You want me to explain about the characters of Magica Record. So, I'm going to be making videos about both the characters and the story of Magica Record, but I'm going to put a very heavy focus on character profiles. So yeah, I want to say thank you for everybody who took part in this poll, because in you doing that, you helped me to understand, like what sort of videos that you would like to see me make. So yeah, so I'm gonna be making more Magica Record videos, and I'm gonna be doing a lot. I'm gonna put a lot of emphasis on character profiles. So yeah, thank you guys so much for that. That is so incredibly cool of you. Thank you so much. Okay, so the whole point of this video is that because I started this series on this channel where I ask a question at the beginning of the week on Sunday, and then toward the end of the week on Friday, I respond to the answers that you guys leave me with the question that I asked. So let's get it going. Let's just go. I'm high energy. I have so much energy right now. I don't know why. And apparently, Coco Cat 28 is very excited about doing this little. I don't know what this says. I guess it's a Q&A. I don't know what the hell this says, but whatever's going on, Coco Cat is excited. Yay! Let's do it. Yay! I've got a dang dusty. Okay, I'm kind of messing around. I'm messing around. Okay, so the first answer that we have comes from the non-existable being, who apparently has an icon that almost is that. I'm trying to figure out what anime character that is. That sort of looks like that character from Excel World. Maybe it's not. The icon's kind of small, but it kind of looks like that fat kid that's in like Excel World. Am I right about that? A non-existable being? Is that who your icon is? Are you the fat kid from Excel World, or is that somebody else? Is it like from a hentai, or is it? I don't really know. But anyway, so thank you for leaving your answer. I'm going to read it now. Oh wow, this is actually a somewhat long one. Okay, so non-existable being writes, unfortunately, none of my friends watch anime. Okay, it's time to get some new friends then. Yeah, it's time to get some new friends. I mean, what are your friends like normies or something? Like, anyway, I first saw this anime as a meme. Oh God, really? I questioned what type of meme that you're. Anyway, and then I wanted to watch it because that meme was intriguing. Okay, I wonder if the meme had anything to do with the mommy head jokes. I feel like when people first get into Madoka, that's kind of like the biggest thing that a lot of people kind of get from it. They get the whole annoying head jokes that I don't like. Oh! Anyway, then I was roped in. Unusual character design ideas inside Witch Labber, design of the whole town, which sometimes seems deserted, but you don't really ask why. And that plot! Okay, I have to say that there are some Japanese productions about magical girls that don't seem so light and happy. For example, Magical Girl Apocalypse. I don't care about some dark moments when it's not necessary. When it's not unnecessary darkened. I'd say Puella Magi Madoka Magica is close to realism. Even though there were some motions that showed us this anime is even reducing violence and realism, like first Q-based death with zero blood loss. Then there are tracks. My favorite is Sis Puella Magi Madoka Magica M1 and Ray's Curtain M3, but they are all good. Also I haven't noticed dumb unnecessary fan service inside movies. Yeah, that's really true. But it's interesting because a lot of times when you're watching these shows that put a heavy emphasis on girls, you normally tend to have like those fan servicey kind of moments. But it's interesting that we didn't get that within Madoka, unless you want to count Rebellion when you have mommy in the bath towel scene. Though to be honest with you, even though she was in a bath towel, I don't feel like that the context of what was going on there was meant to be sexual. I just feel like they just did it just because. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, that's actually a good observation. Yeah, Madoka Magica is definitely, it doesn't really have fan service, not really. Fan service is one of the things I don't like in most Japanese cartoons. Okay. How many times a day an MC falls right into breast? Okay, I think sex sells in Japan. I think a lot of us probably know that. I mean, that is kind of a big thing over there, and I personally don't really mind it because I'm kind of like a seasoned anime fan. Like, I've been watching anime like my whole life, and I pretty much lost my fan service virginity many years ago, so it's not like a big deal when I see, like, if anything, it's kind of boring now. Like, it's so, like, I'm so used to that stuff, like the fan service. It's just boring. That's kind of why I sort of prefer hentai a little bit more than the normal fan service stuff, because they literally just repeat the same thing over and over. So it's like it's boring for me. But anyway, how many times have you fallen like how many times a day an MC falls right into breast? How many times have you fallen like that ever? Yeah, it's very exaggerated. Okay. Saying of breasts, they are, oh god, jeez, what you wait a minute. Okay, so wait. Saying of breasts, they are realistic. Some girls in some ecchi or harem or both magical girl shows have so big ones. Oh god, we're getting an in-depth analysis on the boobs of Madoka Magica. Oh god, this is quite fascinating. This is quite fascinating. You know, it's funny. I never really thought that much about the actual boobies. I never really thought that much about like the boobs in the series. Very interesting. I mean, well, to be fair, I technically do have a video where I do sort of talk about mommies, mammies, but the reality is that I really just sort of made that because I wanted an excuse to talk about how great Mommy-san was. But anyway, saying of breasts, they are realistic. Some girls in some ecchi or harem or both magical girl anime have so big ones. Well, maybe there's also fan service. Puella Magi Madoka Magica is thriller. I can't say if Puella Magi Madoka Magica would be half as great if it wasn't thriller. I think I can kind of agree with that. And as you have said, all the characters don't spin around one as dummies. Every one of the 5 has its own temper, story, and wishes. I actually like that. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. Yeah, I think my experience was a little similar to yours. I will admit that I didn't really, like, I wasn't aware of, like, any memes or anything in relationship to Madoka, but I think that, just like you, once I got into the series, I was very caught up when it came to, like, the character designs, as well as the story. Obviously, the whole thriller aspect of it was really awesome. And you also mentioned Magical Girl Apocalypse. If I'm not mistaken, I think Magical Girl Apocalypse is supposed to be that, isn't that supposed to be like a zombie, like, version of, like, Magical Girls? You essentially have Magical Girls who take the form of, like, zombies. Essentially, I think it's basically a zombie kind of story, but you sort of have Magical Girls who are the zombies instead of, like, normal zombies. I have heard of this before. I have heard of this before, and I think I might have even read it. It's just, if I did, it was a long time ago, though. But I remember it was pretty good, and I think the same person who made that manga also made Mahou Shoujo Site, which I'm actually not a really big fan of. But I'm going to work on a video about that, because I actually got a request from somebody who said they wanted me to talk about why the Madoka clones failed that came, the magical girl stuff that came after Madoka. They wanted me to talk about why that stuff failed compared to Madoka, and essentially analyzing the differences. So I have a video that I'm going to be making eventually about that. So okay, so yeah, thank you so much, non-existent being, and I want you to tell me what your icon is, but thank you so much for taking the time to write out your answer. I very much appreciate it, and I especially appreciate your deep analysis on the boobies of Madoka Magica. That was especially insightful. And, yeah. And as I said, I mostly agreed with everything that you said in relationship to the designs and the thriller aspect of it. And even though I don't particularly mind fan service, I do think that it is kind of a breath of fresh air, that it doesn't, that it's not, like, completely bogged down within Madoka Magica, you could kind of say. So, yeah. Thank you so much for leaving, this comment. I appreciate it. Oh, I still want to know what your icon is. Be sure to tell me what your icon is. I want to know. Okay, so so now I'm reading a comment from, I don't quite know how to say your name, but it's I'm just gonna call you DR BXX1. Yes, so so now we basically have a comment from DRBXX1, who actually is a longtime viewer of my channel. It's funny because I originally met this guy on a fan fiction website. I was actually a fan of his because he wrote some really awesome femdom smut regarding two really awesome video game characters from one of my favorite games to ever be created. I was actually kind of like a fanboy of his back in the day, and then eventually he found my channel, and apparently he was a Madoka fan, and so yeah, and he's actually a longtime viewer, and I really appreciate the fact that that you're here, Dr. BXX1. Anyways, so he says in his comments, I think the animation and music is really good. In anime, animation and music are very important. The movie is a masterpiece in these two things. Also, head jokes. What? Really? Really? You're really serious about this? Are you saying this on purpose to try to get me triggered? Is that what this is? You're missing the head jokes here? What the fuck? What's really funny is that we're supposed to be like mommy comrades. Why are you bringing up the head jokes, man? What is this? Is this mutiny? Are you betraying me? What is this? Anyway, they need to watch it to understand the head jokes. Oh, good grief. How cute. That is so cute. They need to understand the head jokes, huh? Oh god, that is so cute. But yeah, I actually do agree. I think the music does. My favorite music. But yeah, I actually do agree. The music does really do a good job in setting the tone, especially the music that is playing at the very beginning when you have Walpurgisnacht in relationship. When you essentially have that scene where you have Madoka watching Homura fighting Walpurgisnacht at the beginning of the series. What's really funny about Madoka, a lot of people like to say that it didn't really start to get dark until episode 3, but I kind of felt like a lot of the transitions of like what was happening at the very beginning, the atmosphere was always somewhat eerie and somewhat creepy, and I would say from the very beginning when that music is actually playing, I think that from that moment you can, if you actually go back, you can, personally, I'm able to feel like a somewhat eerie atmosphere within the actual series even before episode 3 happens. So I definitely do agree that the music does play a very big role in setting up everything. In fact, dare I say that the music could very well be like a big part of the reason why this show has the kind of vibe to it that it actually does. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to write out this answer to my question, Dr. BXX1. Thank you so much, despite the little thing about the head jokes, but it's okay. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see here. So we have another comment from Sakura Rose Gamer, who is actually another longtime viewer. I believe she's been, I don't know when you first came, Sakura Rose Gamer, but I know you've been like I know you've been subbed to my channel for a while. I know you've been like very consistent in my live streams when I actually did live streams. Hopefully I will do them again relatively soon. But yeah, so Sakura Rose Gamer says, I forced my big sister and my little sister to watch Madoka Magica. And my big sister liked it, and my little sister loves it. She loves the characters, music. What's really funny, one of the consistent things that I'm noticing, which is a pattern here, it makes me question if I should make a video about the music in Madoka. It seems like, because so far, with the 3 comments that I've read, a lot of you really feel like the music played a very big role in why this series was able to captivate, everybody that watched. So this is kind of making me think, whether or not I should actually, this is making me question if I should actually make a video about the music. What do you guys think about that? And what's really interesting is that if you're somebody who's a longtime viewer of my content, there's actually a certain song from the Madoka Magica anime that I constantly play in a lot of my videos. If you can anybody who watches my videos guess what that particular song is? It's a particular song, but it's like a piano version. But yeah, let me know if you know what song I consistently use. But it's actually my favorite one. Anyway, music, story, and the theory as well. For me, I will say it is not your typical magical girl anime. It has interesting characters that always makes me question them, and the girls' backstory and their wishes are interesting because we get to see the reason why they want to become magical. Also, Homura is like a big mystery. Yes, Homura is probably a lot of people that I talk to seem to say that the reason that they get invested in this series is because the mystery of Homura, like not knowing what's going on with her, and all this build up toward her defining moment where we actually get like an explanation. This is a big part of why I think a lot of people were able to gravitate toward this particular series. And which in some ways I think is a little bit sad because it's like Madoka is supposed to be the main character of the original Madoka Magica series, but I think it's pretty obvious that Homura more or less kind of takes that from her as like toward the end. Like Madoka doesn't really get her like time to be the main character until the series is almost over, which I think is kind of sad. I actually remember reading somewhere in interviews that Gero Ibuchi, I believe, had to remind the staff that Madoka was the main character back when they were trying to figure out back when they were still in the process of production in regards to Madoka. Because apparently Madoka was not the most popular character that the people involved in the series really like cared about. Like I think the 2 most popular characters were actually Sayaka and Homura, from what I read. Anyway, so which is interesting. Okay, so the girl's backstory and the wishes are interesting because we get to see the reason why they want to become a magical girl. Also, Homura is like a big mystery. Where is her parents? Like, where is her parents? That actually is a very good question, Sakuro's Gamer. Like, where are Homura's parents? That's actually a question that seems to appear, a lot of you guys like seem to ask me that question every now and then as to where Homura's parents are. Unfortunately, we're never really told that. I think there's a lot of theories behind it. There's some people that believe that she's actually an orphan. There's some people that believe she might be an orphan, and there's some people that think that, her parents kind of sent her off to school in a faraway place. Like, it's not really, we're not really given an answer. But I would assume that Homura, if she has parents, I don't think she's close to them because it would sort of explain why she has such a close kindred relationship with Madoka. But anyway, why does she not have a breathing problem anymore? And they are making a manga about her, so I'm very excited. That's actually a good point, Sakuro's Gamer. They actually are making a book in relationship to Homura. And they did mention in the book, or at least they sort of teased that within this book we may finally get some answers, because there actually is a lot of information about Homura that we don't know, which is actually kind of hard to believe. I mean, when you consider the fact that Homura is essentially the character that we probably know more about than any other character in the series, she's still the character there's still a lot about her that we actually don't know. So yeah, hopefully we will be getting some answers regarding that. Anyways, thank you. And I guess the other thing I'll mention here is that we're both kind of similar, because you forced your big sister and little sister to watch Madoka, and I actually forced my mother and my best friend in real life to actually watch Madoka too. So we actually have that in common. Because I believe it was back in 2014 that this happened. Because essentially my mom had like surgery like in her like her legs. She had like some kind of leg surgery, and she kind of was confounded to a wheelchair. And essentially, you know, I had to kind of like play like the caretaker role while she was going through that. And while she was going through, you know, the healing process of the surgery, I essentially got her to watch a whole bunch of anime that I really liked. The thing, one of them was Madoka, the other one was Death Note, the other one was Steins Gate, and she actually really enjoyed the series. Her favorite character was Homura. I won't deny that at the time I was a little disappointed, but her favorite character was Homer. Her second favorite character was Kyoko. She didn't really like Mommy because she said Mommy didn't have enough time in the show to really do anything, which kind of made me disappointed because I was trying to build up like the idea that Mommy was great, and I was trying to get her to like admit it, but she was like, no, she doesn't do enough, and I'm like, ugh. But yeah, my mom actually really liked this, so yeah, it's pretty cool. But I also like the fact that you use the word force, like I like the fact that you use the word force, like you totally forced them to consume Magical Girl Despair. But anyway, so we're moving on to the next question from Coco Cat 28, and what do they say? Okay, so they're saying, let's see here. So Coco Cat is saying, someone should watch Madoka Magica because it has everything someone could desire in an anime. Juicy stuff at the beginning, darkness and action and friendship. The animation is really trippy and makes it unlike any other anime. To add to that, the soundtrack, another reference to the soundtrack. This is the most consistent answer. So, is it safe to say that of all the things Madoka has going for it, is it almost safe to say that the music could like be maybe one of the number one things? Because this is literally the most consistent thing that everybody is saying. Oh my freaking god! I guess we really have to thank the composers of the music, because the music is this. Everybody. This is like the most constant thing so far. Everybody keeps saying this. That's amazing. Anyway, the soundtrack is just incredible and really supports the morals of the show. There are so many patterns and Easter eggs to notice to build interest in the plot. It's a perfect show. Plus, after I finished Madoka Magica Movie 1, I didn't think it would be possible to do anything else to the plot. But Rebellion proved me wrong, and now I know how much effort and planning was put into this amazing show. Very nice. And I kind of feel like that comment was structured really well, too, interestingly enough. And yeah, you're actually right, Coco Cat 28. There actually was a lot of because I believe that because the original planning for Madoka Magica actually started in 2008. Believe it or not, I know this might seem really hard to believe, but when they came up with the idea of making the show about Madoka Magica, it was literally 2008, and we didn't get the show until 2011. So it actually took 4 years from when the idea of Madoka came into the minds of the creators that we actually got it. So when you really think about it, so it really did take a while. Obviously, Rebellion didn't take nearly as much time, but I guess that's because it was a movie. So yeah, anyways, thank you for taking the time to comment, Coco Cat 28. As I said, that was a very well-structured comment, actually. Anyway, moving on. And Bunny Sunny Mew! Bunny Sunny Mew, if I'm not mistaken, I think you're actually another long-time commenter. Well, I think you're a long-time viewer because I've seen you on my channel, like, way before now, so I'm thinking that you've been around my channel for a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I really appreciate it. Thank you for being one of those people who has stuck around with this channel for a long time, because as I said, I'm pretty sure I've seen you before. Anyway, so, and Bunny Sunny Mew says, it was honestly I actually like your name, Bunny Sunny Mew. It was honestly the anime that got me into anime. Oh god, I kind of like that. That actually sounds kind of poetic. It was honestly the anime that got me into anime. Not only the shock value and dark story, but the characters, music, art, style, and concepts blew me away in a way no anime has ever done before or since then. Yeah, I actually can kind of relate to this. One thing about me is that Madoka Magica was very revolutionary because before I watched Madoka, I had never really seen a Magical Girl show before I watched it, and at the same time, I had never really watched an anime that really put emphasis on having an all-female cast. I'm one of those people that grew up with anime from the perspective of shonen, like, you know, like the Dragon Ball Z's and the Pokemons and the Yu-Gi-Ohs and all the typical shonen stuff that a lot of people watching this video might be able to relate to if you come from the 90s. So Madoka was very revolutionary for me because it was a show that was about an all-female cast, and it was just amazing seeing how they went through so much with their emotions and with all the conflict and the atmosphere of the show. And it really made me it kind of made me see girls in an anime like in kind of a different light at that time. And it actually inspired me to kind of seek out more shows that put more emphasis on having, you know, girls, like, you know, doing cool things. In fact, if I'm being honest, I've gotten to the point where I actually kind of prefer like those types of shows more so than shonen, if I'm being honest. You know, like, I mean, I still love shonen and I still love shows that are guy oriented, but I definitely do sort of lean a little bit more towards shows that have, you know, female characters as a focus. Not necessarily magical girls shows, but I really do like magical girls shows though. Yeah, so I actually can relate to that. And once again, music was actually a consistent thing here. And I also agree about the shock value. I think the shock value is probably is another thing that a lot of us can universally agree with, because there's the shock value of episode 3 that really sort of solidified, you know, that we were all going to become, like, you know, really into this show, like those of us who actually got into it. I sometimes wonder, do you guys think, and this is probably not even a question that I should have asked, but do you guys think that if the shocking moment of episode 3 didn't happen in relationship to Mommy, do you think that, like, do you yourself feel like you would have continued watching the show had that had that shocking moment of Mommy, you know, being attacked in episode 3 hadn't happened? Do you guys still feel like a lot of us would still be like fans of the show had that not actually occurred? But I'm gonna say no personally, because that the shock value was really what helped me to care about the series. It was the shock value of Mommy dying, as well as the shock value of the reveal in relationship to Soul Gems and Magical Girls, which really helped me to get into the series. But anyway, thank you so much for the response, Buddy Sunny Mew, with your Lady and the Tramp 2 icon. Lady and the Tramp 2 is awesome. I actually prefer that one more so than the original. It's better. But anyway, so the next one we have by Mirror 0x0. And they basically say, the characters are so in-depth and the storyline drives you through so many intense feelings. The length is good. It isn't dragged out. Overall, it brings out tears and how much beauty is in it. And there's no way anyone can say the storyline isn't good. I like that. That's very good and very, very straight to the point. That's actually, yeah, that's very straight to the point. I definitely do like that. But yeah, I actually agree. I think the first 12 episodes of Madoka are kind of perfect. I think this, like, the way that the series, like, every single thing that they did, from the characters that were introduced to all the things that happened, it was kind of, like, crafted perfectly. You can make the argument that Rebellion existing kind of destroyed the flow of Madoka in this regard, because the original series was kind of perfect. But I don't mind Rebellion, but I do feel like the first 12 episodes was kind of like a perfect story, essentially. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Thank you for your comments, Mirror 0x0. Mirror 0x0. Mirror Mirror 0x Mirror 0x0. This is actually, and this is, and this comment is by, I'm trying. I hope I say your name right, but I think it's Dante Bori. Dante Bori. I think that's how you say your name. Yes, I'm actually kind of surprised that you commented on this video, because I have you as a friend on Facebook, and when last we spoke, it kind of seemed like you weren't really into Madoka very much, so I kind of wouldn't expect you to, like, be commenting on any of my videos, because it seems like, at least when we were talking, it seems like you're not so much into the series at the moment. But hey, it's awesome that you're here. You're actually one of the very first commenters that I ever had on this channel back when I had, like, less than 200 subs, so it's really awesome that you're actually still here. Like that really says a lot, because that was in freaking 15 that I made of one of the first videos, and you're actually still here. That's pretty amazing. Actually, is there anybody else who could be watching this video that was actually followed my channel like in the early days? I feel like most people that are kind of here now are like really new, which is awesome. But I'm just wondering, like, how many people who are watching this are actually like old school? Oh, Jesus Christ! Wow, you wrote. Wow, that's pretty freaking cool. Like, okay, so you pretty much won the award for like longest. Let's see what you actually said. But damn, that's pretty lengthy. That means that you actually really took the time to really think about this and write it. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so he starts off by saying, I don't really try to get anyone to watch the anime that I like because I don't know if they'd like it. I totally can relate to that because one thing about me, I used to be the kind of person that whenever I found the anime that I thought was great, I would always kind of go out of my way to try to tell people, you know, whether it was my mom or whether it was like my friends online, you know, how great the show was and that they needed to watch it. And a lot of times whenever I did that, I always felt resistance from the person as I was trying to get them into an anime. And, you know, and I think I later discovered that when it comes to anime, all of us selfishly consume what we like. And just because we like something, unfortunately, that doesn't mean that other people are going to be able to gravitate toward it because we all like anime for different reasons. So I feel like the best way to try to get another person into an anime is to try to take the time to figure out what they like and what they care about. Like, you have to kind of dig into the person and get to know them and their taste. And that's probably when you'll have a better chance of getting them to watch something that you might like, if it just so happens to be something that they care about in what they look for in the shows that they consume. So, yeah, that's just something that I kind of had to learn the hard way, because I used to always love the idea of trying to get people in the shows, and then I would always feel sad that people didn't want to actually watch anything with me. I didn't want to watch anything with me! Anyway, So, continuing on with what Don T. DeBori says, because I don't know if they'd like it. So, it's better not to get disappointed. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like it's like you don't want to get excited about sharing a show, and then people are kind of like, I hate... Like, that used to really bug me. I don't care anymore, but well, I guess I do care, but not like I used to. But anyway, but I can still say what I like about Madoka Magica. One aspect would be the music! Music! Unbelievable! Like, holy shit, the music! I have to make a video about the music now, don't I? The music! Anyway, I fell in love with the show because of Mommy's first transformation scene, and of course, the theme. I'm totally right there with you. Mommy's transformation scene was a game changer. It was so fucking good! But yeah, Mommy's first transformation scene, and of course, the theme that plays. Oh yes! Mommy's theme is so perfect and awesome! Okay. Alright, that's enough of that. Okay. 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 I fell in love with the show because of Mommy's first transformation scene, and of course the thing that plays doing it. But there are other great songs. In fact, the BGM is constantly good. I really like the opening and the endings too. And of course, Rebellion has a lot of good songs as well. Exclusive too, like with the Mommy versus Homura fight, the mashup while they transform in the beginning, a song that plays somewhere at the end. You Are Here, and so on. The visuals are great too. Of course, there are some scenes where the characters are far away and lack detail, but I can look over those. Most of the time, everything looks awesome, and the character designs are so nice. The backgrounds can be trippy in the wisp mazes, but they are super creative and have a nice art style change. The characters themselves are well established too. There aren't too many, and that's a good thing, I agree, because this way they could focus a lot more on the ones we have. Oh god, looking at that sort of makes me question how Megear Record is going to turn out, because Megear Record is totally the opposite in the fact that they have an expansive amount of characters, and I think that there's definitely going to be a concern as to whether or not they actually can whether or not they can actually pull off giving us character development for all of them. We're gonna have to see. That'll be very interesting. Anyway, My Hero Academia shows you how you can have a lot of characters, but then you also need a lot more time to develop them. This is actually an issue that I have with My Hero Academia, because there are a lot of characters, but unfortunately, I only care about like 3. That's like Deku, Bakugo, and I think Great Boy. And I also like Todoroki, and I like Frog Girl, but everybody else I don't really care for. And Frog Girl and Great Boy are not really the best when it comes to development. But anyway, moving on. Madoka only has 5 main girls and Kyubey. Yeah, there is Madoka's family, and he told me, but they aren't frequently there. I totally agree. I think they paced the story well, too. Yes, this is probably one of my favorite aspects of Madoka, is how they paced. Like, the 12 episodes, it was just, everything was just, it was perfect. They really made an emotional roller coaster with those first 12 episodes. It had happy times, sad times, and really emotional ending. I'm glad I watched it, and I would suggest it to anyone who's interested in anime, but I guess it's hard to recommend the Magical Girl anime, especially if you don't want to spoil or foreshadow anything. Also, might not be good to just say that it's really dark Magical Girl anime. A lot of people get turned down by Magical Girl Anime Rising Project and Magical Girl Sight, probably, though I liked both of those, and it kind of sounds edgy to say, but it's good because it's dark. Anyway, that's my opinion on the matter. I'll be curious about the video to see what the other commenters will say. Thank you so much, Dante DeBoer. That was awesome. That was so awesome. It's funny because eventually I have to make a video about Raising Girl Project and Magical Girl Site. I don't really have very high opinions about these shows, so that video will be very interesting whenever that gets made. Anyway, I want to take the time to extend my appreciation for all of you wonderful, beautiful people who took the time to comment on this video. If anybody else happens to comment on this video and they don't see your name, that probably means that it's because I recorded this before you had a chance to comment. But my goal is to do this weekly. So if you wanted to be in this video but you didn't get a chance to, then you'll have another chance next week. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned to the channel, because I have more videos coming out. So yeah, this is Mommy and the Sexual M to the I to the M-I, signing out. Peace. Boom. Schwacky. Oh,